So the second practice is going on against the Browns, right? They're playing the Browns again.
Yeah.
And all eyes will be on the Eagles' offense today because it seemed like it wasn't great yesterday. I saw Sirianni say that yesterday the offense kind of was a little bit out of sync.
A little bit of a slog.
Yeah, a little bit of a slog. I think that's a fair way to say it. And Hugh, I feel like it's been a little bit of a slog the entire training camp. So today is the 14th, or yesterday was the 14th practice that has been open to the media. We've been in a lot of those practices, right? Mm-hmm. And we've seen the Eagles practice a good amount so far this summer, as has all the beat writers, including Elliot Shore-Parks. And we love having Elliot on. He's going to join us coming up in a little bit here. But, Hugh, I did something last night because you ever see things, but then you don't add them all together. It's like you see one thing there, you see one thing here, okay, so you put it all together at the end.
Yeah.
Hugh, I was going through last night Elliot Shore-Parks' grades for Jalen Hurts. We know he does his grade every day, right? He gives Jalen Hurts a grade every single day for his practice performance. And, Hugh, I would say when it comes to Jalen, I would say Elliot is more of a fair or easy grader than he is a hard grader. Like, I don't think I think he's evaluating at what he is, but I think he's not going hard on Jalen is what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, he's a Jalen guy. So I went through the grades just to kind of get a glimpse of what we have experienced and what Jalen's doing out there over the last 14 practices to start training camp. Hugh, Jalen Hurts is not having a great training camp. I mean, it's pretty clear from anyone number one, it's fair from my eyes. I haven't seen him have a great training camp. We only see so much. Then I look at what all the beat writers are saying. They're out there every day. We talk to Elliot like 3 times a week, and I see his grade every single day. So let me give you the grades that Elliot has given Jalen Hurts for the first 2 weeks of training camp. You ready for these?
Yes.
A B, A, C, C minus, B minus, D plus, C plus, B minus, A, B plus, B, B minus, A, C minus. There are more C's and D's than there are A's. If you average it out, it's like a C. It's like he's been average so far this training camp. 215-592-9495. I'm curious, is this a big deal? I mean, he's the Eagles quarterback. In a lot of ways, he's a huge part of what goes on here. I think there's an anticipation they're going to have to throw more this year. And last year, he was great in training camp, and it led to him having an efficient season and doing what he did at the end, and he won the Super Bowl. Hugh Douglas, when I say to you, and I think pretty fairly, he's not having a great training camp, is that a big deal to you?
You know what, Joe, to be honest, I don't think so. Because I think there's a lot of layers to this story. And if we're being honest about it, I think a lot of it has to do with there's somewhat a weight that has been lifted off his shoulders. I think that going into this training camp, when you look at Jalen, he's a little bit more jovial. He's a little bit more talkative. And it looks to me outside of what we get a chance to see at practice like he's in a good space. That might be because the pressure's off because he won the Super Bowl.
Sure.
But I still feel like his branding and his messaging is still the same.
So I agree with that. But what I'm trying to figure out is why is he not playing at a high level in training camp? So here's what, to me, he's at a stage of his career. He's not young anymore. He's not old, but he's not young, right? Like first, second, third year player has some ups and downs in training camp. I kind of just, whatever. It's training camp. You're working on things. Maybe there's a new route they're throwing in, new play call. I kind of brush it off. Like, Caleb Williams is struggling at training camp. Well, he's still trying to figure out what he is as a quarterback. He's in his second year.
Yeah.
It's not great, but whatever, okay? Jalen Hurts is in year 6 of his NFL career. To me, we should be at the stage where it's pretty consistently solid most days at camp. And I understand there's things that go on, and they do have a new coordinator. I thought at this stage of his career he would be pretty good every single day at training camp, and it seems like that's not the case. 215-592-9494. The reason I bring this up is everyone has told me the entire offseason he's about to go to a different level, right? Like that he's about to evolve to a different level. And I think that's important for the Eagles. He needs to evolve to a different level and be consistently excellent. I think he has the ability to do that. But so far in training camp, it's a lot of C's and C pluses I'm seeing when it comes to Jalen Hurts and how he's evaluated each day.
I feel, Joe, like there's a lot that they're working on concept-wise, conceptually. And that has been basically said. They basically said as much when they were talking about it. When we had a chance to talk to Landon, they were talking about there's a lot of things that we're working on, trying to get to different looks and everything. I think that's what this camp is being, trying to expand Jalen's mind and his ability to get the ball to other playmakers. So with that being said, you're going to try different things, and a lot of times the way you're trying to might not work. Again, it's hard to glean, even for Elliott and the rest of the pundits that are out there. Unless you're in practice, it's hard to glean what exactly the Eagles are trying to do and accomplish. Now, I know that leads to potentially getting off to a slow start.
And I don't want that.
I understand that. But look at the flip side of this. The defense has looked pretty darn good outside of the secondary woes that we have.
Well,
the front seven look like they're ready to roll.
So I'm glad you brought that up because as I was thinking about this morning, Hugh, because I went through everyone Elliott's grades last night. I felt like a professor. I was like doing the GPA, like averaging this thing out.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, how much of this is he's facing the Eagles defense, right? He's facing Vic Fangio every day. He's facing Jalen Carter every day. I think that's a fair thing to bring up, right? He's facing his own defense. Yesterday, he wasn't facing his own defense, right? The Cleveland Browns are here. And I know the Cleveland Browns have Myles Garrett, but the Cleveland Browns are not a good football team. And they're
got a good defensive front, though.
Good front, but I would say overall, it's probably not going to be a top 10 defense. Right?
Yes.
They have one great player, but the rest, we'll see what they have. Elliott was on with you guys yesterday, you and TK in for me yesterday. Here's what Elliott said on our show yesterday about the practice he just witnessed and how the offense looked.
The offense was really what held them back. If you want to visualize what today looked like, envision last year's win over the Carolina Panthers, where the defense got the job done and the offense kept the opposing team in it. I thought Jalen had probably his worst day of training camp so far. I had him down to 16 of 24, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. But it's a day where the stats don't tell the story. He could have easily had 3 or 4 interceptions. Some people will say he had 2. I thought on the second one he was sacked before he threw it. But overall, not a good day.
I mean, Elliott laid it out there. He compared it to the Panthers game last year. That's not giving me a lot of confidence. I want to see Jalen Hurts play better the rest of the camp, but I do think this is a big deal. And Elliott tracks all this stuff, right? We bring him on all the time to talk about what he's our eyes and ears at camp. Because it's not like the old days. I mean, we've gotten a chance to be there a lot today. We're at McGurk's in Lionville. But it's not like the old days where all of us or a lot of us get to go to watch these practices. A lot of people went to the open practice. That was awesome. But for the most part, Elliott is our eyes and ears. And any other beat writer out there you read or pay attention to. And they're all pretty much in the same boat. It hasn't been a dominant camp from Jalen Hurts. Elliott sent me this number. We're going to have Elliott later in the show. Hurts touchdowns through 14 practices. Okay? Last year, 21 touchdowns through 14 practices. The year before, 15. The year before that, 22. So his 2 best seasons, the years the Eagles went to the Super Bowl, he was at over 20 touchdowns at this point of training camp. 2023, where he struggled, the team fell apart. He was at 15. This year, he's at 12. It is, I understand it's all practice. I do think it's a big deal, though. They're going to rely on him more. They're going to have to throw the football more likely than they did last year, most likely more than they did last year. And I think this is a big deal. 215-592-9494. We appreciate the audio there from Louis Coco, who is in for Alex, who's in for Kyle right now. Alex called a little late this morning, Hugh, so Louis Coco kind enough to hang back.
Shout out to Louis Coco. Who was late this morning?
Alex call.
Hey, Alex, if you're listening to the show, you ought to be a damn shame to yourself, man. Get your ass to work on time.
All right, we'll talk to Alex when he gets there. We appreciate Louis back in the show.
How you doing?
And Vonnie, who has helped with the audio. So we have a whole team back there helping us out.
You ain't going to allow me to kill Alex at
Well,
this
I
point?
figure we'll do it more when he gets here.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, we'll put him on trial.
Alex, we about to hold your feet to the fire.
Yeah, that's
bro.
what we do around here. 215-592-9494. It's how you hop aboard. All right, is it a big deal that Jalen Hurts is not having a great training camp? And by all accounts, he's not. I would say it might even be a stretch to say he's having a good training camp based on all the reports out there. And I've said it, in the practices we've gone to, it feels to me like he's just looked off. He's held the ball a lot. They've taken a lot of, quote-unquote sacks because no one touches him. But the ball, there's not been a rhythm to the passing game that I've seen when we're out there. And everyone else that's out there says similar things. Is this a big deal? Yes or no?